Hi folks. I was watching a program earlier called, actually I don't even know what it's called. Good question, I will find out. It's a new one, I've only seen episode 1 of season 1. Earth Abides it's called, it's a new series. Basically, a virus similar to COVID, but does it the other way around. So basically, with COVID, about 3% of people died. No more than that. Probably less, actually. Probably about 2.7% of people died. Worldwide, that is. Directly from COVID. I mean, to be honest, there were a lot of deaths where people died of cancer, but they had COVID, and they put that down as a COVID death. Yeah, no, not those. Where people actually died because of COVID. Not because of anything else, but because of COVID. You're looking at probably about 2.5%. Now imagine there was a virus that killed 97.5% and left only 2.5% of people immune and therefore living over the whole of the world. And you were one of those people that lived. But most of the people you know, well, basically everyone you know died. And in that town you live, there's maybe you and one other person. If you live in the country, then you might have to drive a long way to find someone else who lived. So you're in that situation where you know that food is going to be tricky. Well, because obviously, there's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be a lot of dead bodies laying around that will have to be dealt with. That's one thing that would have to be done, which would be horrendous for the people left. Well, imagine it's worse. Imagine it's just 1% of people that survive. 99% of people die. Yeah. Yeah. Tricky. Well, because as I say, in that sort of situation, well, would the animals die as well? Because if the animals didn't die, then a lot of animals, farm animals, would die through starvation after a time, wouldn't they, really? Because all these programs, they don't look at it from those points of view, do they? They don't add that in. But you'd have to add that in. Because you'd either have to look after the animals or they would die. And so the majority of cats and dogs and other animals would have to be scavenging the best they can. So they'd be eating the remains of humans who are disease ridden. So they may very well die themselves of that disease because they do that. Cows and sheep and goats and chickens and other animals like that. Well, yeah, they'd be in trouble, wouldn't they? They wouldn't necessarily die of the disease, but they would through starvation. And the shops. Yeah, the fresh food would go mouldy very, very quickly. Would go rotten. If the electricity companies are run more automatically at that point in time, then you would probably have electricity lasting for decades and decades and decades before there was actually a breakdown in the system. Because, as I say, if it's run automatically, then you've got automatic systems adjusting to make sure that everything runs well. And you can go into most properties and turn that off. Turn the electricity off. And when you've gone into a shop and you've emptied everything they've got out, not food, because you've used it yourself, you've eaten that now, you can turn the electricity off in that shop, which will then make the electricity last longer. You would have to learn to be self-sufficient after a time, because once that electricity dies, or once all the food is gone, you're going to have to get food. You're going to have to find ways of doing that yourself, aren't you? And coming into contact with people. Again, what these programs don't actually normally help you to see is that what if the other people who survive are a-holes? What if they're people that, you know, are annoying and irritating and self-serving? These are the only people that you can spend time with. That's going to be a... Are you going to rather spend time with your own? With a lot of people, the answer is yes. You would rather than spend time with those people. Because you've got a choice, spend time with them or spend time with your own. Most people would say, nah, I'd rather spend time on my own than with them. Yeah. Drive past them every now and again, but that'd be about it. Driving would be an issue as well. Although potentially you could have any car you wanted, because any car that belonged to someone, you could go and take the key and take the car. The filling stations would still be, they'll still have as much fuel as they have in them. You may have to learn how to fill up the station, because obviously the tankers, yeah, if you can learn how to fill up a tanker and fill up a station, well then you can keep it going for quite a while, because there are areas where they've got enough fuel to last for, well, if it's just you driving around, for a blinking lifetime. So fuel wise, and there's plenty of cars, so if your car dies you can go and hop into another one and drive that for a while until that one dies. Yeah. You might want to take them to a breakers so you can make those big old cars smaller, so they won't take up too much space. Dumped at the side of the road. But yeah, I think life would be possible. Yeah. Would I think certainly for a while I'll be quite happy in that environment. In that sort of, yeah. Because I know that, yeah, okay, people have gone to where they're supposed to go to. That's cool. Or where they've chosen that they're going to go. That's cool. Because they are. God doesn't judge people, so people judge themselves. So therefore, the way they judge themselves will decide where they go. And, okay, the way they judge other people is how they judge themselves. So therefore, they decide their eternal resting place. And that's cool. They can do that. Indeed they can. And so, yeah. Yeah, when it all comes down to it, it is what it is. I think I'll be fairly happy. Well, if dogs didn't die, I'd certainly get a few. And I'd take care of a few, because again, these places with all the dog food, you've got enough dog food there for God knows how long. Most of it's dry food. It'll last for decades. You've got all these shops that do the dog food. Yeah. Doggies would be delighted, wouldn't they? And they have so much choice. For them, food is easy. For us, food is easy. All you need, as I say, if you keep the freezers on in the big superstores, then most of the food that we want to eat, we can get frozen versions of it. I mean, at least that's what we want to. We might, obviously, chicken. We can't get eggs. We might be able to get chicken. Well, chicken parts we can get, because you get frozen chicken parts, chicken breasts and all stuff like that. Lamb. I'm not sure. You probably can get some frozen lamb. You can definitely get frozen pork. I'm not a massive fan of pork or chicken though myself. Beef I like. Don't get a lot of frozen beef. Though I imagine you probably can find some somewhere. And so that because you just, well, because you can get beef and you can freeze it, can't you? So yeah. So that's a thing. You can do that. Because that's another point, actually. What you can do, you could go into the shops and any fresh beef they got, like in the cheddar, go and stick it in the freezers. Empty a freezer full of stuff that you wouldn't want. Yeah, blinking in vegan food. Fill it up with beef. Yeah. That beef will last for years. Years. I had beef in my freezer for well over a year. Took it out, defrosted it, stuck it in the steam cooker, and steamed it overnight, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So, yeah. There certainly are ways that you could do things. You'd have to learn to do a lot of stuff. Yeah. But you'd have all the time in the world to learn. I'd have to do a group chat about this. Think about what other people think about that situation. And so, yeah. I'd love to do a group chat because I think that would be an interesting point to see. Yeah. Get other people's points of view on it. But for me, no, I think that'd be pretty cool. That'd be something worth looking at. Well, say if I was in there, I wouldn't be too bothered. At the moment, I'm on my own, so therefore being on my own in that sort of situation, yeah, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that. I'd have a lot more choice available as to where I want to live, and what car I want to drive. Yeah, I wouldn't have to get money because everything would be free basically because there'd be no one to pay. You could get all the money, you just burn it. Yeah, yeah. In the winter, you'd have a log fire because you'd have all the furniture from all the other houses around that you could burn. Yeah, it'd be great. No. Well, of course. Well, again, would it be bad for those, 99.9 or 99% of people that would die? Well, that would depend really upon where they go. But if they're going to go somewhere, then they're going to go to that place anyway. That's the reality. The reality is most people choose their paths, and their paths are completely chosen way before they die. Way before they die. So, yeah. It is what it is, and we are where we are. So there you go. You take care, God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Enjoy. This is where I live. This garden, this path here, you've got poo either side of this path. Yeah, it's no longer stones there now, it's grass, and therefore, I normally call it shit garden because it is that bad. So this is my tiny little place here.